I didn't know my work had a sound until I started noticing it during quiet moments. The drag of a mop over tile. The soft click of a supply cart wheel that never quite rolled straight. The way buildings breathe differently when offices empty out. Cleaning teaches you this kind of listening. You learn how to be precise without being seen. That's probably why my sister thought she could ask me the way she did. She called in the evening, after my shift, when my hands still smelled faintly of disinfectant no matter how much I scrubbed. At first she talked about dates, guests, seating. Practical things. Her voice kept circling something it wouldn't land on. Then she sighed. "Please," she said, and the word sounded smaller than it should have. "Don't come to my wedding." I remember staring at the sink, at a chip in the porcelain I'd never noticed before. "Why?" I asked, not defensive yet, just confused. Another pause, longer this time. "I don't want people to know you're just a cleaner." Just, the word dropped between us like it had weight. Before I could respond, my mother took the phone. No greeting. No preamble. Her tone was the one she used with service providers, calm, efficient, final. "We'll tell people you're dead," she said. "It's simpler. Don't contact us again." I didn't cry right away. I said something polite, I don't even remember what, and hung up. The crying came later, in my car, hands on the steering wheel, engine off. Not loud, just steady. The kind that leaves you exhausted but clear. For a while, I disappeared the way they wanted. I blocked numbers. I picked up extra shifts. I let the days stack neatly, one identical to the next. There was relief in it, if I'm honest. No performances, no explanations. Just work that needed doing and did not ask who my family was. 2 weeks before the wedding, my supervisor asked if I could cover a special assignment. A downtown venue. High-profile event. Security clearance required. I nodded without thinking much of it. I'd worked events before. The job was the same: prep, maintenance, compliance. You follow protocols. You document everything. The wedding day came and went like any other date on the calendar. I worked the early shift, ate lunch alone, went home. I was folding laundry when my phone started ringing. I hadn't unblocked anyone. The calls came through anyway, unknown numbers at first, then familiar ones slipping past whatever filters I'd set. My sister. My mother. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. The phone buzzed itself silent on the table. I listened to one voicemail. It was my sister, breathless, frantic. Words tumbling over each other, something about access. About a misunderstanding. About how I needed to call back immediately. I didn't. Later, through messages forwarded by someone who still had my email, I pieced it together. During final checks, an inconsistency had been flagged, guest access overlapping with restricted service zones. The venue's compliance officer intervened. Procedures kicked in, certain areas were locked down until verification was complete. The ceremony was delayed. Vendors were upset, guests restless. It wasn't personal. It never is. Authority doesn't raise its voice. It just enforces what's written. My name appeared on the internal log, not as family, not as embarrassment, but as staff authorized to coordinate with compliance. When questions came up, they followed the chain. Mine was part of it. By the time things resumed, the schedule was fractured. Some guests had left. Photos were rushed. The mood never quite recovered. I never showed up. I never called. I never explained. The calls eventually stopped. Weeks later, my mother sent a message. Not an apology. More like a report. How difficult the day had been. How humiliating it felt to lose control in front of people who mattered. I read it once. Then deleted it. Nothing in my life changed dramatically after that. I still clean buildings. I still listen to the way empty rooms settle. But something inside me shifted, quietly, undeniably. They had tried to erase me to preserve an image. In doing so, they'd revealed how fragile that image was. I didn't win anything. I didn't get revenge. I got something smaller and steadier. I no longer answer calls that ring from a place where my worth is conditional.